Hi, I'm Lori Fowler. I'm an artist based out of Nashville, Tennessee. I'm so excited that you're here with me for this week of discovering your inner artist. We are going to have such a great time. Fluid painting, I'm going to show you some of my favorite techniques that I teach students all the time, and then they are shocked at what they can create themselves. I know you're going to be surprised of what you can create too. It doesn't matter if you think you're creative. It doesn't matter if you can draw a stick figure or not, or if someone else has told you you're not creative. I'm telling you, you are, and you have an inner artist, and we're going to find that inner artist this week. During the week, you are going to learn how to mix fluid paints, or you can purchase those. We are also going to go through a few of my favorite techniques, and you're going to get to try those as well. We also will have a Facebook group that's going to help with our community. We're going to be able to encourage each other and share struggles, share some of the paintings we've created, and just be in community together as we journey through this, discovering your inner artist. Additionally, we will also have a live Q&A where I'm going to gather your questions that you've asked, and I'm going to answer those questions live and get to know each other better through that too. I'm really excited that you're here. I can't wait to share fluid painting with you. I have had so many students talk about how life-giving fluid painting has been for them, ways that they were able to process life, ways that they were able to be creative and just honor that part of themselves. And these are people that had never fluid painted before. I know that you also are going to be shocked at what you can create. And I'm so happy that I get to share this with you. It's one of my greatest joys to get to share creativity through fluid painting with people that I meet. I'm so glad you're here. I know you can do this. Even if you're not sure if you can yet, I'm telling you, you can. And I'm so proud of you for showing up. We're going to kick this week off with a really fun demo so that you can see what fluid painting looks like in real time. It is mesmerizing to watch. And don't worry about following along on the step by step this time. You can just sit back and relax. And then in the following lesson, I'm going to walk you step by step through doing your own fluid painting. Let's get started with the demo. What I'm going to do today is demonstrate one technique that I like to use with fluid painting. I know you don't have your materials yet, so you can just sit back and enjoy watching the mesmerizing process because fluid painting really is that. It is mesmerizing. While I paint, I'm going to tell you some of my background of how I got started and also just share how exciting it is that fluid painting creates new designs every time we paint. So much of fluid painting is letting go of control. And if you're anything like me, that can be really hard to do. We really want to feel like we're in control in life, right? But we don't always get that option. So with fluid painting, the paintings are going to turn out differently every time we paint. I might use the same paints, the same technique, layer them in the same way, and I'll still get a different result. And I love that about this because it kind of cuts out the perfectionism that we might want to have when creating something. I love what Bob Ross said, where he said, there's no such thing as mistakes, just happy accidents. There's a lot of happy accidents that happen in fluid painting. There's so many times where I look at something and think, oh, I didn't expect that to happen, or oops, I didn't mean for that to look like that. But then if you just keep moving with the process, you can still create beautiful art that is going to be unique to each time you paint. So these paints are acrylic paint, but I've added a medium to them to make them fluid. I'm going to teach you how to do that too. You'll notice that the paint is much thinner than your standard acrylic paint if you've ever used acrylic paint, which is more of the consistency of toothpaste. When I started fluid painting, this was just a way for me to do something fun that I was enjoying. I'm a homeschool mom. I have 3 boys, and I needed a bit of time just to be me without being mom, without being, taking care of the house or anything else. I just needed space to enjoy and be creative. And it actually became a way for me to process life and life events that were going on and that go on even now. And shockingly, this has now become my full-time job, which I never expected when I started this journey. When I started fluid painting, I didn't think I had any artistic talent. I knew I was creative in other ways, like I could do things with crafting or, find something on Pinterest and kind of try to mimic it, that kind of thing. But I never thought I had the capability of creating something with paint that I would love until I discovered fluid painting and I discovered that there's so much freedom in fluid painting just to express yourself. I love that I can go out into my studio. I can be angry, sad, joyful, all the things at one time, and go out and just put it on canvas. And I love also that in the end, I have not only honored myself and my life and what's going on with me, given myself space to process, but I've also created art. And there's so much importance of that with our mental health, of creating and releasing creativity, using that side of our brain that so often gets kind of sidelined with our everyday life and the logistics and things that we need to take care of as adults. I just love to watch how the paint moves on the canvas, just flows out. It's a bit messy, just like life. There's a lot of experimenting and options in that too. There's so many ways to fluid paint. And that's what I love too, is there's not a wrong way to do it. There's guidelines that help, like your consistency of your paints um, being the right consistency, but there's so much space to play, which means that we can kind of let our brains take a little rest while we paint. I've taught many other people who had not fluid painted before, and then they've continued and said that it's become their therapy. And I can so relate because it just is so helpful for our mental state to just go be creative and think about our life, whatever's going on, and just be. Even the paint that runs off the side of the canvas creates such beautiful details on the table. I love how we're getting these really lovely lines and designs. It's kind of like a fire and ice um, combination here, or fire and water. And so I'm just looking at my painting and watching the paint fall, and then I'll determine once it's done, after all the paint's gone on the entire canvas here. You can even pull it down a little bit. There's finger painting and fluid painting too. You really don't use a paintbrush unless unless the painting's dry and you're just touching something up. So I love that you don't need to use a paintbrush because paintbrushes can be so intimidating. It feels like a tool that, oh, I don't know how to use that tool, so I'm not capable. But we all know how to use our hands, right? And we've all probably done some finger painting in some part of our life in preschool. So you're just kind of bringing that back. And that's what I love too, is that there's playfulness in fluid painting. We get to play. We're so responsible in life, and there's not a lot of space in everyday life to play unless we make space for that. So fluid painting is such a great way to be playful, and that's so good for our mental well-being and just our enjoyment of being on this earth. There's got to be some fun involved, right? So now I'm just kind of moving my design back to the center. Until I am happy with where it's placed. I'm just getting this orange to move down a little bit down my canvas. There's so many times where we can get distracted by looking at a screen, whether it's a computer, our phone, television. We like to be entertained, right? But this is such a great way to slow down, and you're still looking at something, but it's something that you're creating. It's still scratching that itch of wanting entertainment, but it's in such a healthy way to look at what you've made because you are creative. All right, and there is our finished fire and water painting. So with this technique, we get these really beautiful lines and ripples that form all through the paint. I love that we've got this blue here, this kind of oceany water, and then this red type of fire looking section here. I think it's beautiful how they kind of swirl together in the middle and create just these beautiful designs. This demonstration was really just to whet your appetite so that you could see how beautiful the process is of creating fluid art. In our next lesson, I'm going to walk you step by step through the process so that you can create your own fluid painting. You will have all of the instructions you need to do that. Also, I'll be sending you a video on how to mix your own fluid paint using materials that you most likely already have in your home. If you don't already have them in your home, you can get them at your local Walmart or other big box store for really inexpensive. Be sure you join our Facebook group so that you can join the conversation and the community of other people that are also trying fluid painting. You can share your questions. I'll be following along and answering your questions in the group. You can also share the paintings you've created and see what else other people are working on and even get inspiration for colors and designs. So definitely join the Facebook group. It's going to be super helpful on your journey of fluid painting and discovering your inner artist. I believe in you. I know you can do this, and I'm so excited to see what you create. I'll see you next time in our next lesson.